So today I am going to talk about the last two phases of compiler, that is intermediate code generation and code optimization. So in the previous classes, did you have understood all those three phases: lexical analysis, syntax, and semantic analysis?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today I am proceeding with the intermediate code generation and code optimization. So let me show you the slide. So is it visible?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Okay, okay. So see, what is the intermediate code generation? This is the fourth phase of the compiler. So this phase actually transforms the parse tree into the intermediate language representation of the source program. So there are some benefits of the intermediate code generation. A compiler of the different machine can be created. A compiler of different source language can be created. A different source language means you can write in any program, either Java, C, C++, or SQL. So these are the different source languages from which the compiler will translate it into the machine language or the assembly language, the low level language. And machine independent code optimizer can be applied to the intermediate code in order to generate an optimized code. So how to represent the intermediate code? So there is one example of the abstract syntax tree. So the grammar of the expression or the syntax is x is equal to a star b plus a star b. So this abstract tree or the this can be represented in the form of the parse tree, or you can say the abstract tree. The x is equal to the operator at the top, then a star b operators will be the leaves, and a is and the expression will be at the root. So the Polish notation is also called as the prefix notation, in which operator occurs first and then the operands are arranged. For example, a plus a star b plus a star b can be written as plus star ab in the Polish notation. So now there are some three address codes. In the three address codes, the general form of the code can be represented as a equal to b or c. So thus expression, you can write this expression in the and as we said, the three address code, you can split the expression. That was t1, t2, t3. So the first one is the t1 is equal to a star b, t2 equal to a star b, and then we can write t3 is equal to t plus 2, or x can be assigned to t3. So hence this t1, t2, t3 are the temporary names generated by the compiler, and the three representations are used for these three address codes, which are known as the quadruple representation, triples, and indirect triples. This quadruple representation, it is a structure which at most form yields such as argument 1, argument 2 as the result. Here OP is the operation code and arg1 and arg2 are the operands. Like that, the function, if we in mathematics, if we write in the function, so the argument is the operands, and result field is used to store the results. And this is the example which I had shown in the first, that is the example of the quadruple representation. And the triples, in the triple representation, the temporary variables are avoided by referring to the pointers in the symbol table. So symbol table, as I discussed in the last class, that those are the data structures of the compiler, one kind of data structure in the compiler. And pointer, so did you heard this term pointer? Can you tell me what is pointer?
To address a variable.
Okay, so that means it used to store the memory address of another variable in an array or
Yes, sir.
pointer, what we have seen in a C language or C++. Okay, So another is the indirect triples. So indirect triples also, it is the triples, you can list the triples. In this, for the same expression, you can also write the indirect triples for the x is equal, but most common form is the quadruple representation. Next is the term called backpatching. So what is backpatching? It is the activity of filling up unspecified information of levels using appropriate semantic actions during the code generation process. That means it is also associated with the semantic phase. In the semantic phase, both the lexical analysis and the syntax analysis will be covered, what I have done in the earlier classes. So that syntax analysis, it is similar to the hierarchical analysis, where both the identifier operation, the expression will be there. So that is associated with the backpatching. And symbol table, as you know, it is a data structure used by the compiler to keep track of the semantic variables. Symbol tables is built in lexical and syntax analysis phase. So semantic analysis, it is refers to the symbol tables for the type conflict issue, and the code generation refers to the symbol table knowing how much runtime space is allocated. That means when the program will be executed, so in that how much time it will take to execute the program. That is after the compiler checks whether the program logic is correct or not. So after the compilation part is over, during the runtime process, how much time it will take to execute the program and generate the output. So that is associated with the semantic analysis. It refers to the symbol tables. So there are various symbol table entries which are known as the variable names, constants, procedure names, function names, literal constant and strings, compiler generated temporaries, levels in the source language. So variable names means, if you write any program, you have to declare the variables. In general program, if you write for suppose program for addition, so you have to declare some variables, x1, x2, these are the variables, and you have to define the data type, whether integer type or floating type or character type. Then the constant also you have to declare. Then procedure names and the function name. Suppose if there is a code, if you have to generate with the help of the function, any if you generate the part string, or if you define any function, so that case the function names have to be defined. And there are some literal constants and strings. That is, if you want to write any program which is associated with the character array and the string for the expression, then these are the literal constants and strings. And next is the compiler generated temporaries. What are the temporary TMP files compiler generates, and finally it is the levels in the source language. So compiler uses the following types of information from the symbol table. That is the data type. That means if you define the variables, first you have to define the data type. What kind of data type it is, whether it is integer or floating type or double or character. Next is the name of the variable. Then declaring the procedures. That means if you define a function, you have to call the function also. Then offset in the storage. That means for storing the output, and the pointer to the structure or the second table. Next is the number and type of arguments used passed to the structure table, and next is the base address. So these are the in this way compiler uses the symbol table to achieve compile time efficiency. So are you getting or not? And if you have any doubt, you can ask me up to this.
Sir, offset in storage.
Pardon? Please repeat once again.
Offset in storage.
Achha. Offset means.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So offset means for storage, it is associated with the memory. So while storing the program, you have to it is associated with the array and the pointer aspect. So offset means it is a particular some little portion of how much memory it is associated with the program. That means if you define the program, it is a very where if you call any in a HTML script, if you want to write, then that image size if you design a web page or also anything. So for designing, in that case, if you put the inputs where some lot of images are there, and so in that case you have to define some offset that this much of capacity it will be required for storing the program, for so that while the compiler executes the program, it should be the TMP files, the temporary files, it will be adjusted according to that position. So that is actually the offset. That is
Okay, sir.
in simple terms, in mathematics, if you want to say that offset is the small type of distance or associated, which is as it is known as offset. The cutoff actually in this infinitesimally small. It is the offset of 2 meter or offset of 3 meter with associated to the distance. So in this in this concept, it is associated the how much space, some backup space you can say, offset in storage, that so that the TMP files are to be adjusted according to the storage capacity. Anything regarding this symbol table entries?